I really didn't think it would come to this. David and I talked about getting him into a care home, but Dad just didn't want to leave the house he'd lived in for the past 50 years. Too many memories to leave behind, he said. I know David was putting pressure on him to let us have the house. We have 2 kids, see, and only a tiny flat. Dad was stubborn. I should have said something. I mean, David's got a bit of a temper on him, especially when he's been drinking. And now I could lose them both. My dad and my husband.
Cases like this, where an elderly person dies by the hands of an abuser, are very rare, but sadly sometimes happen. But could this death have been avoided? Were there signs or symptoms of abuse that Norman's carers could have spotted? Were the policies and procedures laid down to protect Norman from abuse ignored or overlooked? In this video, we look at the signs and symptoms of abuse and how you, as a care worker, can safeguard the adults in your care from being abused. The Care Act 2014 defines adult safeguarding as protecting an adult's right to live in safety, free from abuse and neglect. It is about people and organisations working together to prevent and stop both the risks and experience of abuse or neglect. Safeguarding balances the right to be safe with the right to make informed choices, while at the same time making sure that the adult's well-being is promoted, including taking into consideration their views, wishes, feelings and beliefs in deciding on any action. Health and social care organisations have particular responsibilities, but every worker has a part to play. In the Care Act 2014, well-being is described as relating to personal dignity and respect, physical and mental health and emotional well-being, protection from abuse and neglect, control by the individual over day-to-day life, including over care and support provided and the way it is provided, participation in work, education, training or recreation, social and economic well-being, domestic, family and personal well-being, suitability of living accommodation, the individual's contribution to society. In this video, we look at the role of the carer in maintaining a culture which safeguards the individual, the legislation and policies that exist to safeguard a person at risk of abuse and neglect, the concept and definition of abuse, the signs and symptoms of abuse, ways in which carers and organisations are required to respond to the abuse of individuals.
There you go, love.
Thanks, love. Oh, it's been a difficult day today. Thank God the kids have finally gone to sleep.
I got those brochures like I said I would.
Not now, David. I'm really tired.
Oh, do take a look. He'll have his own room and bathroom. They've got lovely grounds and lots of facilities. It's like living in a hotel.
They're very nice. But you know how he feels about staying in his own home. I mean, he's worked hard all his life and he just doesn't want to leave. And we've got so many happy memories there. Me growing up, Mum and her coffee mornings, Dad and his barbecues. You know, he just doesn't want to leave his own home. And I don't think we can force him if he doesn't want to.
But it's not fair. Him in a big 4-bedroom house and us, you, me and the kids in this tiny flat. Now we've moved him downstairs, he hardly uses any of the house.
We're all right, we can manage.
I suppose.
Look, he needs his medicine. Would you be able to drop it round after work?
That's something else they do in this home. Give them their medicine. OK, hon.
Norman suffers from chronic obstructive airways disease, which causes him breathing and mobility difficulties. So he requires care and support to live a relatively independent life. By law, Norman has the right to choose where and how he lives his life. No one has the right to demand he moves out of his house and into a home, not even his family. Adults dependent on others for their care needs may be at risk from those who might abuse the power and influence they have as a care provider. It is the legal and moral responsibility of every care worker to respect the rights of service users and to safeguard them from physical or mental harm at all times. Failure to do so may constitute abuse or neglect and may be a criminal offence. 6 key principles underpin all adult safeguarding work. Empowerment. People being supported and encouraged to make their own decisions and informed consent. Prevention. It is better to take action before harm occurs. Proportionality. The least intrusive response appropriate to the risk presented. Protection. Support and representation for those in greatest need. Partnership. Local solutions through services working with their communities. Accountability. Accountability and transparency in delivering safeguarding. It is important that individuals who are receiving care are allowed to make choices and to take control of their lives as much as possible. This enables the service user to maintain some degree of independence. Service users have the right to privacy and dignity, choice and control, protection from harm and abuse. As a care worker, it is your responsibility to safeguard